Mike's on. Mike's off.
So yeah, The Country Bears is a movie where someone decided, hey, you know that really boring show in Disney World and Disneyland that you take very tiny kids to?
Star Wars?
Classic.
Yeah, let's make a movie about the Country Bears. Pirates of the Caribbean did well, why not? And so their thought was, well, what if it was the Blues Brothers?
But they're bears.
But they're bears.
The Blues Bears?
The Bear
It's
Brothers.
the Blues Brothers, but it stars the Country Bears getting the band. There's literally like, you gotta get the band back together. Get the band back together!
And then one of them mauls somebody because they're bears, right?
I mean...
Does that happen?
They are kind of scary.
Is there a Grizzly Adams reference?
Are they? They're kind of scary. They're terrifying.
They're bearifying.
They're pretty scary, but like you know, Chet should be going though.
Yeah,
Cool.
we can see them.
And yeah, like the bears are just realistic enough to be creepy, and when they get angry, you're like, what the fuck? It's
Stop it, scary bear suit.
It was Henson Company doing a good job. Just doing a good job with something that's terrible.
Man, speaking of Henson Company doing a good job, I recently rewatched Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze.
Oh damn!
Man, say what you will about the movie. I had fun. It's a goofy, cartoony.
I like
movie.
it.
Yeah, like when I tweeted about being like this was the movie I preferred over it and the first one as a kid, a lot of people were like, the first one's a way better film, and I'm sure they are right. Because I did pick up a lot more of this is just a cartoon episode stretched to be a movie, and they don't get to use their weapons because that's too violent for children. But the puppets in that thing still look amazing. Splinter is that looks so much better to me than like any of the recent CG real life turtle movies.
Is Turtles 2 the one where he says he made a funny?
No, he says that in the first one.
That's the first one.
In the second one, he goes, "I made another funny."
Oh, okay,
They reference it.
I mean, it's a movie that was made 2 years later.
Yeah.
So
Remember Super Shredder?
Super Shredder?
Who
Yes.
was on screen for 10 seconds and then kills himself!
I thought he was so cool as a kid, and all he does is stand up, tear down a dock that's on top of him, and to which the turtles go, "Shredder, if you do this, you're going to destroy all of us," which I thought was a weird line.
And you can't say kill.
Exactly. And Shredder just goes, "So be it," and then brings down the dock, promptly destroying only himself.
Yep.
So it's
a really bad ending.
But I remember there are some bits in that movie that I have remembered since my early childhood and stuck with me to this day when I watched it again. Like, I really liked when they're all eating pizza at April's apartment, and April goes, "I brought napkins," and Raphael just stares at her, "What for?" I was like, that's a good bit. That's fun.
But it doesn't have classic lines like, "Ninja kick the damn rabbit."
No, but they got "Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go."
Okay,
They
look.
do have that.
I was really mad when Naruto hit Tsunami and Tom didn't say, "Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go."
Go.
I wanted that to happen so badly. It's so dumb, but I wanted it because
Go
I was.
Ninja, Go. Naruto at 9 p.m.
Yep.
Ugh.
Mildly censored before we're on Adult Swim.
How do the animatronics hold up in the third live-action Ninja Turtles movie?
Oh, man.
Actually,
No, look,
unfortunately,
everyone
there is
loves
no
it.
third.
Everyone loves to hate that third movie. It's fine.
It's really bad.
Okay, well then how about
He
the
meets a Japanese child named Yoshi, and they have a relationship that is friendly and not weird at all. I promise.
Then what about the Ninja
Casey
Turtles
gets to
TV
teach
show
all
that
the-
also crossed over with Power Rangers in space?
Oh, the live action one?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. That was
That
some
one's-
Turtles media that missed me.
that one had
one's
Venus
so-
de Milo in it.
Venus de Milo. So you know what the fucked up thing about the crossover with the Power Rangers? So what happened was
Mikey's really horny in it.
Mikey's actually always horny. He's a
He's a party dude.
He's the actual teenager out of
Okay,
all
well,
those guys.
What kind of parties do you think he's running?
The horniest turtle depends on the show, but we can get into that later.
Yeah,
Donatello's
actually,
always got that big shaft.
sometimes it's Donatello.
Sometimes
though.
it's Donnie, and sometimes it's specifically
He
for
does
April.
machines.
But the thing was, the cast of the Turtles show didn't even know the Power Rangers one was happening because it wasn't sanctioned by the creators of the
Of Turtles
Rise of the
or
Mutants.
Power
I
Rangers.
forget what it was called. I forget what the actual show was called, but they didn't know it was even being made. Fox was like, "No, we're gonna make this, and we don't care if you're involved." So they got the costumes, but they didn't get any of the actors. They didn't get any of the writers. They just threw the Power Rangers in together with the fucking Ninja Turtles for an episode, and it was really bad and really weird, and nobody ever.
And it's really hard to find now.
Yes.
I've mostly just been able to find
media.
summaries.
Yeah. So for me, it's It's the original Ninja Turtles movie, and then second place is actually tied with the 2007 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, the CG one, and the second live-action film.
I
because-
watched the 3 live-action films, like the 80s, 90s ones. Watched the cartoon some, but the movies was definitely my like point of reference for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I had like a couple of Turtles games. I had a lot of Turtles toys. It was all because I loved the movies.
I really love the first movie. Like, it still holds up pretty well.
Yeah.
And also, the new show, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, is really good, and you should watch it. But anyway, speaking of Heroes in a Half Shell, we should talk about the heroes in high school.
Oh, okay.
Heroes in the high school.
My
Plus
Hero
Ultra.
Academia, MHA.
You're supposed to be talking about My Hero Academia.
Yeah, I got, fair enough. It's just I more recently watched Turtles, so it was more fresh in my mind.
I just watched the newest episode of My Hero Academia because, if I'm perfectly honest, I've not been that hyped to watch it lately.
Yeah, you know what? Unfortunately, when it comes down to it, this whole arc that we're seeing right now kind of feels a little silly and not high stakes. But that's kind of its purpose.
It was
It's-
more fun in the manga.
It was, yeah, it was
Yeah,
a little awkward.
Okay, so I had inklings that there was going to be a bit of a Bakugo Todoroki seeing what they were up to, filling in for their class kind of stuff, and that had me real excited. The way they've gone about it is not what I was hoping, is how I'm going to throw that.
Well, so one of the things that I noticed is that they're kind of going slow through this. They're taking
Yeah.
their
Like,
time
it
a lot.
feels like they're really taking their time.
The
Like,
end of episode, that's where they ended? I'm not feeling...
Yeah.
That's not a cliffhanger.
yeah.
I don't care. Do it in one episode.
I was wondering how they were going to handle it, but it is... I'm not sure they could have handled all of it in one episode, so they
At
kind
least
of...
the majority of it.
Yeah. So we'll see. But hey, it's still fun because part of this is all about Todoroki. I'm never going to remember the one dude's name.
Inasa.
Bakugo and Inasai and Kami all having to connect to today's youth. And
Kimi or Cami?
Kami.
Cami.
Yeah, it's
Cami.
actually-
I
it's
voted
actually
Cammy,
Cammy.
but
Yeah, it's actually...
I'll trust your word.
Apparently it's actually Kami.
Okay.
They have to figure out how to reach these kids. But I'm excited for the next part because I love the idea that one of the ways they connect with them is through their quirks. They kept trying to connect with them through, through generational gaps and personality problems.
Through
and what
puny mortal means.
Yeah.
hey, I think
Foolish
it's a good
and
thing.
normal.
I think it's a good thing to talk about. Like, hey, what is the thing that actually connects you? And they all have quirks. And yeah,
It's a good thing Deku wasn't a troublemaker as a child. He would not have a quirk and therefore would not be relatable.
He'd just get worse and then become a supervillain.
Okay, you know what? Hold on, real quick. Sidebar. I need a quirkless supervillain. At
Oh, yeah,
some
that'd be-
point.
that'd be-
that,
that'd be
that
rad.
needs to happen.
You want a Lex Luthor?
Yeah.
oh yes.
I want the Midoriya, but he had one too many bad days and became evil with his lack of a
They
quirk.
could just use the original design for Midoriya that didn't get used. The one that looks really emo.
The fucking My Chemical Romance one?
Hell
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, did you ever see that fucking post?
I feel like I saw a picture of it
Yeah.
at some point because I
When
know
I
what you're talking
was
about.
a quirkless.
But father wasn't there.
But this episode, okay, so I think conceptually this stuff is fun. Like, I think it's a fun idea to have kind of our super serious Todoroki and our always angry and not suitable for children Bakugo basically be put on kid duty as their test, to show that they can reach the people they need to save. And I think that's fun. I think that's a neat idea. But yeah, I think they're just doing it too slowly.
Yeah,
It should have been Fast and Furious jokes the whole time.
Because yeah.
Yeah, thank you. It feels like they're taking their time with this, and it's like, no, this should be a fucking crazy. These are a bunch of kids with two people. Let's be honest, three people completely unequipped to handle kids, and then Inasa. I like the fact that Inasa's like, no, I'm good with kids. I don't know what you're all about. So, although I won't lie, one of
His insecurities.
my favorite fucking jokes actually, when he's like, hey kids, you're being really rude right now, and you don't want to be rude with your teacher. You really got to be more considerate. And the fucking fact that the kid turns that around like, yeah, but due to the fact that you failed and now you have to do this test, you're inconveniencing our teacher too. And Inaz's just fucking
Like,
taken out,
you're
just
right.
destroyed.
I'm so sorry. I've made a mistake.
And
Yeah.
of course, then the kids are fucking laughing because they knew.
Yeah.
Like,
And like, I will say these are. I almost regret saying these elementary school kids are weirdly horny. Why are they so horny?
Yeah, well,
you mean the girls?
The girls and the boys.
Oh,
Like everything around Kami.
how old are they?
Elementary school kids. That's all I know. But like they look really young.
I would say around the 3rd, 4th grade is when that's, I'm not going to say appropriate, but natural, I would say.
Yeah.
When that might happen.
yeah.
I mean, look, when I was.
But I got the impression they were like kindergarten, and so.
Oh, they're not kindergarten. They are elementary.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah, and they're a little bit, but they're not.
It's just a little weird to play that up, but like just because Kami has boobs.
They're
But
4 to 6. They couldn't be.
no, they said elementary school.
Yeah.
They're not in preschool. Like they
Yeah.
make a big deal out of saying like, oh, elementary school is a time of where it's important
It's,
for their
yeah,
development.
it's- Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but they still look
Formative.
like really young elementary
Yeah,
school
they
kids.
do look off. Also, what is fucking okay? So there's a kid in the back who looks like the fucking major from Hellsing.
Mr. Smart Kid.
Yeah, the smart kid who's. You want to fucking Lex Luthor? That's what that kid feels
Well, yeah,
like. That kid feels like Lex Luthor
I mean,
with hair.
that at least like perfectly captured the idea of a kid you would like to punch in the face, but you can't.
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead and say like they haven't gotten into it. I don't know where this mini arc is going to resolve, how they're gonna do all that stuff, but at some point Bakugo brings up a very true thing as someone who's worked with children before. He's like, somewhere in this group is their leader, and they're gonna stop being little sacks of shit if we make an example of that leader. I think
But
Smart Kid hanging in the back is going to be that leader. Bakugo's going to look for like a noisy troublemaker, and the twist is going to be like, oh no, it was the kid sitting in the
It's this kid
back.
who's been antagonizing you
Yeah,
the entire
it's
time.
the kid who's been actively throwing insults and clearly was more designed than just about every other child in this group.
Actually, somebody
He's
just
probably the leader.
And somebody pointed out, he's fucking Johann Liebert. That's what he is. He's fucking Johann Liebert from fucking Monster, and he's in this classroom, and he's gonna fucking, he's a little bastard.
And it's all going according to Keikaku for
yeah,
him right now.
very much. He's got these guys read. He knows exactly what they're gonna do, and I love it.
But yeah, like this bit's funny in the manga, but it's also pretty short, and like it's like 2 or 3 issues, and you blast through the jokes real fast.
Yeah.
Here, like the
It's
jokes
like-
take a lot of time.
Yeah, and like every character had a good bit, I thought. Like it
Yeah.
was funny with how Bakugo's like, all right, which one of you thinks you can take me? Like he's just like, I'm gonna make this a fight, and then Todoroki coming and be like, hey, you gotta talk to him, get on their level. Hi, I'm Todoroki. My father was a like, it's just like, and everyone thinks he's boring. Like, yeah, no, you can't just. There's no one size fits all for childcare, and for people even. So.
And I'll say it doesn't help, and I know I've been the person most annoyed by this, but just
Here
this
he
episode's
goes.
pretty ugly. Like that, some of the character shots are like really off.
Actually, I'm gonna agree. There were some points where the heads were a little bit too big. And
Like there's a
other
shot of
points
Bakugo where I was like, "What the fuck is that?" Like,
Yeah.
it's weird, and it's like the thing where like this is the stuff they're definitely gonna fix in a Blu-ray.
Oh yeah.
Like this
100%.
episode felt really off visually.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't help me personally.
I didn't catch that, but I'm sure it's something that was subtly making its way into my brain and making me not enjoy it as much.
Also, yeah, this feels like an episode that was like. It feels like they're trying desperately to fill out the 25 episodes worth of content since they breezed through the stuff they actually could have given more time.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we were talking about how they kind of took their time with some of the previous arc, I feel like I don't know, this whole part seems like, I don't know if it's tough to adapt for anime just pacing wise, but it feels like it's kind of been all over the place. Like this whole season has felt
Yeah.
slow and then really fast in spots where it feels like they could have taken time.
Yeah,
and
really?
then slow again.
Yeah. This season, I think the rest of the season is probably going to be rougher than we would like. At this point, I think that's safe to say, and that's a shame because there's a lot of good stuff in this season that's being underserved by the production.
Actually, I actually think that the stuff that we're going to see after this is going to look better than the stuff we're seeing now. because one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of the promotional material and a lot of the even in the trailers and stuff that
They
we've
didn't
seen.
show any of this.
No, they didn't show any of this, which really makes me think that they were like, this stuff is whatever. It's
Saving our budget for the festival.
saving this.
time,
Yeah,
yeah.
Um,
Time
and
budget.
yeah,
Anime production fans are very touchy about what budget and time, and
Well, yeah.
time is part of the budget. To be
Yeah.
frank.
Apology.
no,
Resource.
it's fine. We're not correcting you. We're just making sure the audience who might have
We're
not
just
have heard our
catching it
previous.
before someone else does.
Yeah, because
Before
we.
someone accuses me.
Anyway, so yeah, this episode is still funny. It's got funny bits. The idea is really fun, but yeah, it kind of feels like a little bit of a drag, to be completely honest.
Yeah, well, and like I can see that, like your point about it, like the next arc, let's say, looking better. I think the majority of it will still be roughly on par with this. I think there will be moments that'll look really good, and in like 2 or 3 episodes that look really good, but unfortunately, we're not going to get what we would like out of the majority of what we have left.
We'll
Kind
see.
of like the last one.
Yeah, I'm really excited about how they're going to handle the next couple episodes because there's a lot of fun set pieces. So I'm really hoping that it works out. But yeah, this episode
I
in
absolutely
particular.
hope so.
Yeah, this episode in particular is just not incredibly and like. Yeah, I don't even have much to say about it. I don't.
Like, it's
Yeah.
tough to do like a beat by beat thing for it because it was kind of just they all deal with kids.
I mean, I'm
that
glad-
episode.
We need to keep the turtles discussion at the beginning for the
For time.
Look,
now they have to.
I am really actually happy that they touched on Endeavor though.
Yes,
'Cause-
actually, yeah. That
Yeah.
is something that I do want to like shine
Endeavor's
some light on.
Endeavor's whole character arc here is beginning. I feel like we're starting to see
I
this
think
character who
probably
was
the-
just a bastard in the
Yeah.
background. We're starting to see more of how he thinks, his perception not only of what a hero is, but how he wants to move forward as one, and seeing the goal that he was trying to reach fall apart, and now he's left in. Here's the best part. He wanted to be number 1, and now he's realizing that now that the actual number 1 is gone, he's still down here.
Yeah.
He didn't go up. He did not
the
elevate.
number
not
one
any
bar
better.
met him,
Yeah.
not the other way around.
And
all he did is lower the bar. and
Yeah.
just-
yeah. Oh, imagine hearing that. Imagine hearing it's like, no, you're number 1 because you lowered the
By
fucking
default.
bar.
And I thought it was
Shit.
actually like a very effective scene when the people taking this test or whatever see Endeavor walk in and they're like, "What's Endeavor, the number 1 hero, doing here? Oh man, why did he have to come?" And then they see All Might, who is retired, out of it. And they're like, "It's All Might! Yeah, hell yeah, he's here! Woo!" And like getting excited about
Yeah,
it.
that's actually pretty true.
Like,
Damn.
and then like
No one wants to be treated like Dick Cheney attending a baseball game.
yeah, and like and Endeavor when he's sitting with All Might is like, it's like, I'm not an idiot. I see how they look at me versus how they look at you. I know I am not what you were yet, and then he even like admits he's like, and I realized trying to climb that mountain, I never would. That's why Todoroki is here. I
why I'm
made
pissed
him.
off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and trust me, we know that Endeavor's a piece of shit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, and that's kind of the interesting
Fuck
thing.
Endeavor. Like,
Yeah.
he's a
Also,
bad
I think
person.
shitty characters can be some of the most fascinating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're so compelling.
I feel like when you start a character very low and give them room to grow and build into something fascinating,
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah, somebody was just pointing that out in the chat. It's like, yeah, trust us. We
Yeah.
know that Endeavor
We don't
is.
lose sight of like that Endeavor's an abusive piece
Yeah.
of shit.
Yeah, and that's why it's so interesting to see a character like that. Because look, I just finished BoJack. Okay, that series is basically about an abusive piece of shit. And it's interesting to see how those characters react and respond to outside pressure to do better, and see how that acts. Because look, there are a bunch of shitty people in the world who just don't get better. But seeing one have to face reality and seeing how they respond is always interesting, because we've seen the story about how good people respond under pressure. What about the bad ones? That can be an interesting story if it's told right. So that's why it's cool to see Endeavor put into that position of, hey, you're an abusive asshole. You ruined a woman's life. You almost ruined your son's life. You might be. There's a whole thing. Now you have to do the right thing. Go, buddy.
And now all of the eyes are on you.
Now you're
Yep.
the moral paragon of the
yeah.
country.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
the one everyone is looking at now. And like
Yeah.
that's
And him actually recognizing like, look, I don't don't know what the fuck to do with this role.
Yeah.
I'm not cut out for this. I'm just some asshole who
Like, I
beats
just
up
want to be
bad
strongest.
guys.
Yeah.
Which I like. I really love that My Hero actually addresses the idea that, like, look, if we lived in a society where heroes would be commonplace, there'd be a lot of assholes among them. A lot of
Yeah.
self-serving douchebag people who aren't actually moral paragons of, like, what you want a superhero to be in a comic book.
If anybody knew about Endeavor's private life, imagine that. Imagine fucking.
Cancel.
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
Endeavor's fucking
Totally.
canceled.
Rightfully
immediately.
so.
Yes, absolutely.
We reached out to his son Shoto, and he had a lot of alarming things to say about the #1 hero.
And here's the thing. Here's the fucked up part. His family would probably go to him and say, "Don't talk about this. Don't let the public know. That's not their business."
Partially because Japan, family culture in Japan.
Also, their laws with it's weird. In ways
do they
they're
have
better
not
with
good
the
spousal
paparazzi.
abuse laws, or?
Well, they're kind of here and there, but I was gonna say the paparazzi. Like
Oh.
in some ways it's better than ours. In some ways it's worse. Like the way that the paparazzi can invade your life, the way that your life can change, the way society treats you if you have like a scandal going on, it's terrible. It can be really, really harsh.
That's not good here. So,
Yeah. And that's why you see a lot of people try and keep that stuff under wraps. So that's why the family has kept it very closed off. Not a lot of people probably know about what happened with Endeavor because the family's been keeping it to themselves.
Yeah.
They don't want the controversy that would bring. They just don't see the net gain that they would get out of it. And that's a sad part. It's sad.
Yeah. Relaxin' Sam says, doesn't he have like 3 kids? And I think that his number of kids is actually very ambiguous. Like when it comes to exact numbers.
I know we've seen like a sister.
We've
or
seen
something.
a few.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sister, a brother.
And
him.
I personally am one of the people who believes that
Dobby's related.
is one of his kids.
I kind of hope that isn't true.
Me too.
Like it feels too contrived in my mind. Like it's just like we need a reason for this guy to be related to someone important.
Well, for me, it just makes sense, and I think it'd be a good turn for the story because it would be a direct consequence of how he treated people.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair.
And he would have to basically face that down too. Probably having to face maybe one of his children in a fight. But
Just to make sure, a lot of people are saying 4. Is the 4 including the? I can't.
Theorized Dobby.
Well, I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't think this is a huge spoiler because I don't know why it would be. There is a dead sibling in
Okay.
his family. And I'm sorry if that's a huge spoiler. I don't.
What?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
But yeah, if that's including him, then yeah, that would be 4. Otherwise, he has one alive sister and brother, both older than him. Considered failures by their father because they didn't have the combination of quirks.
Yeah.
and I will say, Dobby also has part of his face is burnt, and if it were Endeavor's fault somehow, that would be real fucked up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and also would make sense.
Yeah. No spoilers, folks. But yeah, it's a bad home situation. It sucks, and
But I liked him talking with All Might though.
Yes.
And I thought that was a good scene.
Yeah.
Actually, weirdly enough, that was probably my favorite scene of the episode. And considering the theme of the episode is 2 of my favorite characters, Bakugo and Todoroki, having to deal with children and gang orcas there, and somehow the mundane conversation between All Might and Endeavor is maybe my favorite part of it. It's possibly a little damning for the episode.
Or it's just a good side for that
I mean,
conversation.
it is a good it is good. It's just
Could be both.
yeah, maybe a bit of both because I did really like. Even All Might goes, he's like, well, what I saw was I wanted to be this symbol for people and this thing that like I needed to be. That doesn't need to be the same for you. You don't have to be me. You can do this your own way. And like,
And he doesn't say thank you, and he's just like, okay. He's just thinking about it.
he's like,
yeah, and
fine.
And also, just every time Shoto's gonna do anything, just go,
Shoto! Fucking Jesus Christ. He's such a... And the worst part about it is that he doesn't actually care about Shoto.
No, it's about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about... And it's like the worst version of that father who's on the sidelines.
That-
The
that
one that
cheering.
doesn't... Not just the one that cheers because he wants his
fight
son to
the
do
ref.
well. The one who's cheering because he wants him to do well for him. He
That's
wants
my
that-
kid.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
That's my boy
That's
down
my
there.
kid. He's gonna do the baskets or whatever.
Yep.
Happens in the sport.
Yeah, unlike that dad is like, I don't care if you win or lose, just do
Have
it.
fun, son."
Have fun. I believe in you. You're great. No, he's like, win this, do this, I believe in you, fuck those kids up.
Kill him.
If he starts losing, just go boo.
Bad ref. Another bit that I almost forgot about that was pretty alright. Present Mike being really fed up with this thing not having an MC, and so he decides that I'm going to narrate what's happening.
That was a little fun. I think the joke gets
Wore
a little.
on.
Yes,
Yeah.
it wears thin incredibly.
And it's
quick.
blatantly just a way to have exposition happen.
Yes, very
Yeah.
much so.
And it becomes. It's a little too fourth wall breaky for this show.
If they had cut like a third or even 2/3 of all that shit and just let the kids interact, probably would have been a far more entertaining episode.
Yeah.
That and the one other the meat kid who like
Oh yeah, Meat Kid's back.
also shows up. Like I feel like that's for me where the joke was really like I'm done with this.
I can't even remember if he was in the manga because I feel like he wasn't. I feel like he originally wasn't even there.
Because he definitely out of everything feels like though. Why are you even here?
Yeah, no, he should not be. Like flat out. I understand that he has a relationship with Inasa and Kami, so yeah, he kind of has an emotional resonance. But he adds so very little.
Yeah, and he's not terribly funny.
Yeah, like. Okay, so he definitely was in the manga, but
Yeah,
it
he's
should
just-
go
he's
to
not
show
adding
you
much.
that as somebody who liked this part in the manga, I didn't even remember if he was fucking there.
I didn't remember whether he was in there or not.
Yeah, like I'm okay. Like, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, this episode just kind of like it's all right. Like there's stuff that's decent in it, but I was watching it while doing other things, and I felt like that was the right way to watch it.
Maybe yeah.
Maybe the optimal way.
I know I watched it, but I watched it like the Saturday it came out and have not watched it since. And when I was coming in here, I was like, should I rewatch that? Because I'm going through my brain things that happened, and I feel like it was not a lot.
And then did you have the thought of, do I want to rewatch that?
So the series of events is they show up and recap what happened last episode. Then they go in, they meet all the kids. Endeavor talks to fucking what's his face, fucking All Might about the fact that
All Might.
oh no, I'm the hero now, and I'm not happy about it. And then all the kids bicker and argue, and then Bakugo decides, you know what, fuck it, let's do it my way. And then they decide to fight the kids, and that's the episode.
Yeah, they're like,
Also-
all right, we're going to bust our quirks out, and we're going to show the quirks off to the children, and vice versa.
I am all about.
See you next time.
I'm all about what happens at the end of the episode because that's when it actually gets interesting. And yeah, that's when they cut off. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, cool episode. You had a couple
I
of funny
really
jokes,
thought
but-
there was like at least another 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to at least see one of those kids use their quirk for a bit and be like, oh, okay, here's what we got to work
Yeah,
with.
as far as I remember, like not much else happens after they wrapped it. Like they do the next bit here, so like I feel like they could have gotten this entire bit done in one episode. But
By the way, now I want to take a picture of Bakugo, make it black and white, and put "fuck them kids."
yeah,
Episode 79. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of it. Gang Orca was there. It's
Oh
to
yeah.
see him again.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
will. I mean,
he's like a boot camp instructor.
Yeah, he yells at the class.
Sorry.
Stuff.
I always like Gang Orca. He's just got such a great design. He's just a giant fucking orca man in a fucking mobster suit. I love him.
Was he
Does-
number
does
one
he-
hero voted to look like a villain or something
Like number
that?
2, I think.
Okay.
Does he watch Free Willy and just like cry? That's his feel good movie.
Oh my god, that's like fucking. Oh god, I'm trying to think of a film.
He personally decommissioned
It's like
every SeaWorld.
Dunstan checks in when he watches all monkey movies.
Uh,
I
That
forgot
classic
that
film,
part.
Dunstan checks in.
I know Dunstan checks in. I forgot that part. If that's in it.
Yeah. Like there's a point where he's watching Planet of the Apes and like the lady kisses Robert whatever his name is and like they kiss and then when Dunstan goes
Oh, okay.
cover his
No,
eyes.
classic.
how did we fucking get on to Dunstan Checks? You brought that movie up earlier.
Yeah.
Why? How did you fit
Jungle
that in here?
Boogie, Jungle
That's a
Boogie.
fun song. I can't deny it.
I'd like to point out that the only reason I ever saw Dunstan Checks In actually was back in the day. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie actually came out with
And-
this fucking
And
paint name.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
thought.
and it came with a trailer because it had some trailers on the
Right.
on the CD, and I ended up watching that, and I was like, well, I'm a young impressionable child who loves stories about animals that are smarter than they actually are.
Chips are fun.
I will
And
watch
I
this
think that was
stupid
the
movie.
ad, the Jungle Boogie ad.
Probably it was.
It was the one with Christmas and like.
Yeah,
someone's
yeah,
coming.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
that's
yeah.
that's the one.
know better than
Also-
I remember it very well.
Also, there was another one that came out at the same time because movies love to just kind of come out in clumps of similar ideas.
Yeah.
There's also the one with the fucking chimp that played baseball, but I can't remember what it was called.
Oh, MVP, most valuable
valuable
primate.
primate. Yep, that's the one. It has a joke about
Did you know
the
that
Pittsburgh Pirates.
Did you know that there was a sequel, MXP, most extreme primate,
Yes,
where he
with hockey-
skateboards?
Yeah, okay, yeah, you know, hockey was the first one, right?
How many Airbud
There's
movies
one.
are
There's
there?
one with
Yeah,
hockey.
yeah, it might have been hockey might have been the first one. Actually.
But they make a joke about the Pittsburgh Pirates at one point. There's a joke about an espresso machine. I vaguely remember MVP.
Oh man, there were so many really terrible movies in the 90s, and I love them all. I love them.
No, they're great.
Let's talk about Rockadoodle now.
Okay, I haven't actually seen Rockadoodle.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like,
Mr. Furry?
I know. I think I might have seen a little bit of it when I was a kid, but I cannot
There's
remember.
literally a moment where a little boy turns to a cat and goes, "I'm all fooey."
Yes, I know.
It seems like that would be your moment as a child.
Yes, thank you.
Edmund was the kid's name.
Edmund!
We were
yeah.
trying to remember it the other day, and I don't know
Yeah.
why it just came to me right now.
Was that fucking one of the last movies by oh damn,
Bluth?
Don Bluth?
He definitely made it.
Yeah, that is a
I don't know.
Don.
was one
But
of
it's
his
not one
last.
of the last movies at all. Like, because he went on to make Thumbelina. He actually directed Bartok the Magnificent after Anastasia. He Titan AE, of course.
Titan AE is a film that was this close to being really good.
I have a weird love for Titan AE that I don't think it deserves. Like, no, I am aware that I don't think that movie is great, but I saw it so much as a child, and
I love the butt rock in
and
it.
it was an aesthetic that I loved.
The fucking butt rock was the best.
Did it come out around Treasure Planet? Were
Yes.
they
They
near
were
each
roughly
other?
around the same time, so yeah, they both had butt rock
because they
sequences.
blend in my mind, and like Treasure
Yeah.
Planet is like the
That's
the
the
more
one with-
kid-friendly, fun one that I think of, and then
Yeah.
Titan AE was
The PG-13.
At that point in my mind, I was like, this is the gritty adult space
So,
movie.
Which one has Nathan Lane?
That would be
Hold on. I know for sure that he is in Titan AE.
Yes,
Is
he
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
He's not in the Disney one. He's in Titan AE.
all right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Has
I know
Martin
he's
Short,
definitely.
though.
I was like, I know he's in Titan AE. I thought it was a trick question.
Martin Short in literally the worst role Martin
Oh
Short's
yeah,
ever
he
been
ruins
in.
the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
my
He
mind.
ruins that movie.
That movie's pretty good until
Until
Martin
he shows
Short.
up.
Yeah, as a kid, I hated
Yeah,
him.
I didn't like him either.
I hated him so much.
But I will say, I don't remember what the butt rock was in Titan AE, but I do remember, I'm still here, I want this moment.
Fucking, if I remember correctly, I believe Power Man 5000 was in Titan AE.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
okay.
believe you are right.
Which, by the way, when I was
What
a
a
kid,
name.
I was a huge Power Man 5000 fan, so I was like, oh yeah,
I love the idea of all
You
these
were
My
so
Hero fans being so mad that this is what we're gonna spend with short.
Oh no, we're done. We're done with
Yeah,
My Hero.
I don't think. Yeah, if you're here specifically for My Hero stuff, I don't
leave.
even know if I bothered watching the Next Time On thing.
I didn't.
because I don't remember it at all. If I did,
I didn't.
We will come back with another episode, but now we're just talking
yeah,
about.
I assume it's.
Don
I
Bluth.
assume it's like, oh no, they're using their quirks against each other. Hope it doesn't go bad next time.
Yeah, like, oh, they'll do something. It's like, oh, didn't expect that. They suddenly grab the hearts of the
And
children.
that child
I actually
has
don't remember
that
exactly what
power?
happens.
Yep.
I actually don't remember exactly what happens, but because it was fun.
I
but
saw a kid holding like weird shadow ball things, but I think that was before the episode ended anyway. So.
I love
I
the
have no idea
fact
what
that
his power
I
is,
do
but
love the fact that there is a kid with fucking mini chain chomps and he's about to
Yeah.
get like have to go crazy. So yeah, the next episode.
Oh, we're
He's-
going back now.
Yeah, the next episode is actually the good stuff. If I'm being really fucking honest with you, like the next episode has all the stuff that actually matters.
that you were wanting to see.
Yeah, and that's why this sucks, because it's like we get all this stuff that is kind of boring and dragged out for the good stuff that's next episode.
Yeah.
So,
So-
oh hey, that Death Note one shot. I should really read that.
Yeah, I
really
haven't
gotta
actually read it, but I saw a couple panels in it that made me
Yeah,
smile and
yeah.
laugh really hard.
So did you guys know the Titan AE had a version of it that was written by Joss Whedon?
Really?
I'm not.
Yeah.
No.
He was script doctoring a lot at the time. He also did parts of Toy Story. So
Okay. Huh.
I want to see the Joss
feel like-
Whedon Titan AE.
I'm pretty sure he did the last version of it before they made the movie. So like, there's
Really?
some stuff in there that's pretty Whedon-y, where like people just like the part where they have a gate and they just go bzz, and like make it come apart. I feel like that's Joss Whedon
That's
trying to be
Joss
clever.
I feel like, I don't know, it feels Whedon-esque that the ending bit, they're like, we have this new planet, what do we call it? I'm
Bob.
gonna call it Bob.
That's a Whedon.
Yeah.
That's Whedon all
that's
over.
a Whedonism
Yeah.
wholeheartedly.
You can't call it a bob. Why not? I'm the first one here.
Also, I remember
play
that
Bob.
there was a fucking scene where a fucking character gets a neck snapped.
That's
Yes.
Nathan Lane's character.
Yeah, Nathan Lane's
Yep.
character gets
He's
his
like,
neck
I
snapped.
gotta betray you. And then he,
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
and that's and yeah, it also has Kurt Russell betraying a young plucky hero, and that has never happened before or since.
Yeah.
I remember. I don't remember the main kid's name, but I remember the love interest's name is Akima.
Yes.
Because when she's getting hurt or something, and he's just yelling it over and over again, just Akima. I remember his
yeah.
delivery sounding very strange.
Tetsuo!
Yeah.
Also, so someone asked about Atlantis. Atlantis is a film that could have truly actually been good if everything but the characters was in CG. And I'm honestly, I'm honest about that because nothing in that film feels organic because everything is CG.
I
Also,
watched it
even
when
as a
we were
child, as a child, I actually really liked Stargate the movie.
Oh yeah, it's
And
wow.
Atlantis is just Stargate. They just took Stargate. And like, what if we made
I've
a
never
Disney
seen
of it?
Stargate, so I didn't.
It's a mixture of Stargate and Nadia.
Yeah.
It literally that's what it is. They just smashed Nadia and Stargate together as hard as they could.
It also has a Michelle Rodriguez character in it without Michelle Rodriguez, which is interesting.
Atlantis was definitely like. I feel like that came out right when I was at the nexus of like, I think I'm too old for cartoons, kid. And so I didn't watch it, and then I watched it years later, and I was like, this seems very underwhelming, and I don't think I would have even liked it as a child.
Did either of you guys ever see the sequel movie that was supposed to be a pilot for a TV series?
I
Oh,
remember
wow.
it happening, but
Yeah,
I did
no,
not see
I
it.
never actually saw that. I'm sure it's bad though.
Yep, they had what it went on to be, I think, called Atlantis 2, was just 3 episodes of the show put into a movie.
Yeah.
A classic move. I feel like I definitely had a VHS tape, not for that, but there was definitely some show that had something, the movie, and it was just very much, oh, this is just 3 episodes. of
Aladdin
this.
2.
No,
No, Aladdin 2
is a movie.
Aladdin 2 is one movie.
Aladdin
Yeah.
2 and Aladdin 3 are both movies.
Oh, yeah.
recently rewatched
But Aladdin
them.
2 is actually a pilot for the show.
Yeah, it's still a pilot
Yeah.
for the show. But Lilo and Stitch did that, kind of. It was at least kicked off the movie. Little Mermaid had a show. I don't know if they had a VHS of the movie though.
I think I might have had like a Street Sharks the movie thing or something. Like it was something that I identified purely as a show.
Gotcha.
And no, it was Donkey Kong. It was Donkey Kong and the Crystal Coconut. I had that, and it had like the episode where he switches minds with K. Rool or whatever, or he thinks he
Okay.
does. It had like 3 distinct episodes in it, and it was just called Donkey Kong Country, like Mystery of the Crystal Coconut.
Creating precedent for Digimon the movie.
Oh yeah. Somebody just pointed that out. You ever see Digimon the movie? Digimon the movie.
If you
is,
hadn't, I'd be so shocked.
It is
I was not a Digimon kid at all.
Oh man, you gotta watch Digimon the movie and only that.
It's so fucked up because they took an OVA.
Wait, that's the one where they come to like the city, right? And they're like,
It has 3 distinct plots because it's 3 movies that they put
okay,
into one.
I remember Digimon showing up in a real world
that,
city and
that
fighting.
happens. That
Yes.
happens in one of them.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's at the,
I remember that part,
is the
so I
opening,
probably did see it at
That's
some
the
point.
opening before the credits, where they really needed more animation as much as they could put in there. So they grabbed an OVA that was literally all about young Tai and young Hikari, like meeting an Agumon, not the Agumon, but an Agumon, who then turns into fucking Greymon and fights Parrotmon, destroying the city, and then he leaves.
Yes,
and that was
I
supposed to be
remember that part.
yeah, that was the Heightened View Terrace incident, the one that everyone references back to. The big thing that happened where they're like, yeah, this is where a bunch of Digidestin were born. And then, after that, they do our War Game story, which was a movie that was released in Japan, one full movie.
Not
that
Summer Wars.
Yeah, that they... Proto-Summer Wars. That they made...
Spring Wars.
Yeah, Spring Wars. That they basically cut down to be a little bit shorter, cut out some stuff, and then added some shit to tie it into then 2 more movies that take up the second half of this movie with the other Digidestin that had no relevance to the original.
Guess what song the movie ends on? Just take a
Kids
while.
in America.
Nope.
That might be in the movie somewhere, but
Pretty
like,
sure
is.
it is.
Kids in America is in the movie.
Because that's the
but
only
that's
one I
not
know
what they
she
end on.
referenced.
Okay, it ends with whistling.
Is it All-Star?
Yes, it ends with All Star. Yes.
It ends
Of course it does.
with Smash Mouth.
And it opens with a little
Shrek.
bit from Nickelodeon's favorite personality,
Angela Anaconda!
Angela Anaconda.
No!
Going to the movies to watch Digimon the
That's
movie.
okay, yes, I remember that. I remember that.
You can't forget that.
Yeah, okay.
You can't.
I don't know if I
for
ever
some
saw
reason
the
you
movie.
literally cannot remember Angela Anaconda
I genuinely-
dressed as Ty.
I genuinely don't know if I saw the movie, but I definitely saw the Angela Anaconda short.
It's so
for it.
It's so bad.
It might have just been on Nickelodeon at some point to promote it, but I definitely saw that.
You would, in a certain specific way, love Digimon the movie and the Country Bears. They are
Your
worth
love
watching.
for both would be similar.
But none of this matters because I can definitely say that, as somebody pointed out, the Digimon the movie soundtrack is legitimately good. I had it when I was a kid, and I listened to that shit over and over because Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, Real Big Fish, fucking
It's
Bare
been-
Naked Ladies, yes! Fucking for no
That song's
reason,
in there.
that song plays at a moment where it absolutely didn't need to.
1 week to do that, mate.
What does Ty think of Chickadee China, the
Chinese chicken.
Oh, and also, like, it's filled with
Are the
just
Boom
jokes.
Anime Babes that make him think the wrong thing?
No, but, like, that movie's just filled with only jokes. Like, it's kind of thing where it's like, this is an abridged movie. Like, before anyone else did it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit
It's,
of a
it's
gag,
like
though.
it's like ghost stories. Like,
Hey, can you explain this to me? Well, okay. Do you know what a superconductor is? A guy who works part-time on trains?
Oh man, bringing things back. I can't read their name from here. It says that the Power Rangers crossover is on Netflix. And
Oh,
it's
wow.
Power Rangers in space.
fuck.
Awesome. Good. Very good.
Thank you.
For a while, it was hard to
Spoogen,
find.
I think is what your name is. I can't see it.
There's also a moment where like a character gives Ty, I don't know much about Digimon. Gives one of the characters their tragic backstory, and he's crying. He's like,
Oh,
"That's
it's- no,
the saddest thing
it's Davis.
I've
Yeah,
ever-"
it's Davis.
It's the saddest thing I've ever heard. And he goes, "Get over it. It's my problem, not yours."
And then he instantly is okay.
He's like, "Okay."
Yeah. By the way, they had to cut a bunch of stuff from that scene because they were cutting for time, and oh my god.
Well, you should watch Rockadoodle at some point. And
Yes.
That's what this conversation.
You need
Thank
to watch
you.
Rockadoodle. You need to watch Country Bears and the Digimon movie, and
And you've seen everything.
Thank you everybody for joining us for this
Witnessed
episode
all.
of my.
I'll rewatch Titan AE.
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us for our review of Titan AE. Make sure to tune in next week where we talk about Bartok's Revenge, the third film in the Anastasia series that never came
So
out.
Christopher Lloyd was great in Anastasia. Like his
yeah.
Rasputin, I think, is actually amazing.
I want to talk about the fact that Christopher Lloyd's Xehanort
It's
is
real good.
fucking
It's pretty
fantastic.
I was once the most mystical man in all everything.
Sky and Kylum.
Scarlet and Kylo. Ooh. When the royals betrayed me, they made a mistake.
That's not. Well, okay. I think
This-
he's probably doing. That's probably
He's
Christopher
probably doing the
Lloyd
talky
in those
bits, but then
talky bits.
farewell.
Yeah.
That's Jim.
One little girl got away. Oh man, so good.
That's Vidania on you, your grace. So one of us has to go turn it off if we want this to end. But honestly, like we're only 43 minutes in. We could just keep going and let the other thing end. We just talk about bullshit.
Animaniacs is coming back.
Is it?
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard about a return for like a decade.
No, it's actually been in production.
Okay.
Yeah, for like
the-
3 years, and that's about normal for animation.
Okay.
Especially since they're doing it. As far as we've seen, there's been one piece of animation that we've seen. Only one.
Oh, really?
And literally, it's a frame, and it looks like the exact same set. It looks like the exact same show.
That's
like,
fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Then
background.
is it like when the Good Studios got to do an episode, or
You mean TMS?
like the one in Japan?
Yep, TMS.
There was one sequence that looked like it was ripped out of an anime that I know I saw at some point where they like did a bunch of shots that I'm like, I've seen this in anime openings. This is Animaniacs. This is
Yeah.
definitely
The Nations of the World bit was done by the Japanese studio. You can tell
Yeah.
because it looks
Okay.
great.
Yeah, the animation is fluid. Everything looks fantastic. They use a lot of great animation tricks. And that was, it really makes me sad because Korean animation has gotten really good.
Oh yeah.
But back in the day when they switched from Japanese to Korean animation studios were cheaper.
It was in its infancy.
So yeah, it was very much in its infancy. The initial switch to Korean studios was awful. Just literally.
Just rough, I think is the word for it. It was a rough transition.
Yeah, it's like, because you can really feel that when you look at the Batman series, and its worst animation was done by a bunch of Korean studios, and when they made the
meanwhile, Mask of the Phantasm.
it was actually all Japanese.
Yeah.
By and large, actually.
You could tell.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. I could not believe that movie went to theaters.
recently rewatched it and looks amazing still in
Yeah.
my mind.
It is definitely aged though. It is definitely aged.
Like it's a thing where like even if you haven't watched it, you can call the villain from a mile away just because who else is it going to be?
Yeah, wow,
There's
who's
only
this
one
new-
character you
who's this
introduced
new
in this
character?
movie.
Well, they introduce a couple of characters, and as a kid, you might not see it coming. But as an adult, you're like, it's obviously not that dude. You totally set it up to be that dude. It can't be.
I will say Return of the Joker is way better.
Return of the Joker's
Return of the
reveal
Joker
is
good.
way fucking better.
Return of the Joker is a
Real good.
brilliant movie.
I wish there was a way that I could make people watch Return of the Joker, because
It's
a
so
lot of
good.
people think two things. One, they think, oh, it's probably the edited dumb version. No, the unedited version has been readily available for a long time.
Oh, yeah, it's out there.
And it is the one to
And
watch.
it just adds a little bit of blood. Like, you're not
Yeah.
losing too much, but it's enough to where you want to watch the real one.
They cut a lot, actually.
Oh, really?
They cut a lot.
Okay. Well, definitely watch the uncensored one.
Also, look, the censored version's death is actually pretty interesting. I'll give it that. Like, they reanimated that entire sequence.
Oh, really?
But he doesn't get shot.
Oh.
Instead, he throws the gun away and he pushes him into the electricity, the thing he was using to electrocute him. He slips, pulls the lever, and electrocutes himself to death. Which is
That's not as interesting as having the fake bang flag implanted in your chest as you die. That's
That
like
one-
fun.
that-
That's a really good imagery.
Yeah, that is definitely way funnier, and honestly, while not as
Perfect
like big
for
and
the Joker.
dramatic,
Yeah.
it is perfect for the Joker.
Do they still have Harley Quinn falling into an abyss?
Yes.
Before
yeah,
you get the reveal at the end?
she still falls into the abyss.
And then
But
she's Grandma Harley later.
Yeah.
but they
turns
remove
out.
almost all of the violence, like the stab in the leg, all of the blood. One thing I was sad about though, I was listening to the I believe they definitely had a commentary track. Very fun watch,
Oh, really?
by the way. The commentary track is great, and they talked about the fact that during the scene where he's got the clamps and it says "kiss the cook," they were like, "Yeah, we really wanted to kill the cook on the."
They wouldn't let it.
That was the one they were like, "Okay, you can't put that."
CNP does not
This is not
allow
allowed.
it.
But
S&P.
also, you could really tell that they wanted him to say "What the hell?" I'll laugh anyway. But even then, they were like, "We're pushing it."
Oh, what the hell?
I'll laugh anyway. Yeah, but yeah, the unedited version is legitimately the one you'll want to watch. It has got one of the best Batman stories. If anyone here hasn't seen it, it is legitimately really good.
It's great. Like I think unlike Mask of the Phantasm, it hasn't really aged. Like it's
Yeah,
for
I
kids,
agree.
but it's good for kids.
I agree. Its action sequences are spectacular. They've got a bunch. They actually had Akira animators. People who worked on Akira.
That makes
working
sense for some of it.
For one part of that movie with a giant fucking space
With
laser,
a big
yeah, a
laser
little
coming
bit.
from space, yeah.
No, there's some legitimately spectacular moments all throughout that movie. And if I had to stack Mask of the Phantasm next to Return of the Joker, I would probably rewatch Return of the Joker.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, because Mask of the Phantasm is a classic Batman movie. You can't get much more classic than it. But if you want a movie that has, like, just great turns,
The story's
amazing
actually
dialogue,
gripping, I think. in
yeah,
Return of the Joker.
it's really gripping. That's also, oh man, they talk to Barbara Gordon.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
when
that
you
stuff
hear
is
about,
great.
Oh man, because it's a very down to earth story.
And it calls back a lot to just classic Batman stuff also. So it's like if that's like your main point of reference, there is a lot of
Oh
that
yeah.
here.
And you know, though now it's also canon that Batman and Barbara cheated on Dick Grayson.
Bruce Timm always wanted that.
He ruins everything with this Barbara and Batman thing.
Bruce-
I hate it so much.
Bruce Timm is a weirdo. He made
He's a
some
weirdo. Yeah.
Paul Dini was obviously
He's
the
the
guy
actual mastermind.
keeping that shit in check. Bruce Timm had a lot of good ideas. Paul Dini was the guy who was taking all those ideas and making them work.
All right,
'Cause he
Bruce,
was-
let's pull back here. Maybe get a little less horny.
yeah, it's like, hey, Bruce, maybe don't have the Batman fuck one of his proteges.
It's really weird and bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
there's no way to not be creepy about
Who is also his best friend, like his
best friend's daughter.
it. His young wards.
It's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Bruce Timm, stop being weird, please.
Yeah, like that's really uncomfortable. Like, and trust me,
Like the Killing Joke, what he did in the Killing Joke. Like, why? We're gonna give her a story. That's the story.
And I don't.
Great,
and
thanks.
look, I don't want to take away Barbara's own agency either. She's a full like. Within
No,
the
the writers
story-
do that for you.
Yeah, the writers do that. You're right. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Bruce Timm's a little bit of a weirdo, which doesn't mean he hasn't made good stuff. He's made a lot of good stuff, but he also has made some weird fucking stuff.
And that's our My Hero review. Thanks, everybody. Bruce Timm's a weirdo.
Yep. Thank you for joining us. Make sure to tune in next Monday. Same bat time, same bat channel.
I recently rewatched Aladdin 2. It's not as bad as I remembered.
Aladdin 2? I actually really liked it when I was a kid.
Yeah, as a kid, I loved it.
Yeah. I actually really liked Jafar's...
Introduces Jason Alexander as Abysmal, a great villain.
Oh God, Abysmal. Why was he any good? I feel like he was a total schmuck.
No, yeah, he's just supposed to be a fucking just sleazy thief guy, and
Yeah.
Jason Alexander is just a great actor, so you like listening to him when he
Yeah.
shows up, and he's funny.
And not to mention...
I think you should forget about that guy.
Oh God.
The musical numbers suck.
I like Jafar's though. I like Jafar's.